There will be no failure. Failure is not an option. We'll do whatever it takes. You can make your website work for you while you sleep. We know their pain points. We know what their life cycle is. You are not going to show up in the LLMs if you don't have the foundations of traditional SEO. SEO isn't sexy to everyone. We're not using the big jargon. We're making it understandable. Because if you truly love something and you put your heart to it and your mind behind it, anything can happen.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host Ranmay here, and today we have Alex, who is the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder at ClearLead Digital with us. Hey Alex, how's it going?
I'm doing wonderful, Ronmay. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you so much. So Alex, before we move any forward, why don't you talk us through your journey a bit, how it all started, how were you growing up as a kid, and your journey through the digital marketing space, and also a bit about your agency, ClearLead Digital, how you guys are structured, what are your core offerings, and we can take it off from there.
So a little bit about me. I've been in the real estate and property management industry for about 16 years. That's kind of where this all kind of started, is within our property management business. We found out some of that our vendors that we were using weren't really doing proper SEO, and I am a overachiever in things, and I kind of took it on myself and tried to do it for our own company. Going in that journey and seeing success with our own with our company, one of my good friends that I was part of in one of our property management associations, Lacey, she was doing the same thing for her company, and we kind of created this bond over it. We were sharing tips, tricks, going back and forth, and somehow it ended like every Friday afternoon, like from 3 to 5, we were like just working on SEO together. And we had people started asking us like, hey, will you help us with our sites? Like, no, we can't. We're busy running property management companies. And that happened for a while. And then, one day we kind of just looked at each other and was like, well, maybe we should do this, looking for that next, chapter in life. And, property management in real estate is a very hectic life. It's something that, you're very much involved with people's emotions. So it's kind of one of those things where it gets a little exhausting. And after doing it for 16 years, we put ourselves in this space. We're like, you know what, let's do it. Let's jump. So one night it was like midnight, and we kind of jumped and, filed the paperwork and got everything going. And so Lacey, who is my co-founder with me, Lacey Hendricks, she's out of San Antonio and I'm in Orlando. We started ClearLead Digital, and we started, bootstrapping this company and really flying by night, kind of just creating it. And it turned into something that we never really thought it would. One of our philosophy is we have very much a niche in what we're doing. We are working with property management companies. So we were property managers, we're working for property managers, and it's created this really cool space where we've already had the trust in the industry, so that we're able to gain that trust very quickly from our colleagues and peers. But we're able to also provide them this outlook of like, hey, we can make your business. You don't have to do all these things. We can do it organically. And it's been really awesome to see. Kind of our core services are the basic SEO services. We're doing everything on page, off page, doing local SEO. We have a really big push on local SEO because in the property management industry, that's kind of where most of that funnels are coming from. We do content, we're doing web design, the full gamut for everyone. It's been a really fun journey to be a part of, and we're excited to see where this goes.
Lovely. Starting your own agency, breaking through, getting into it is not a mean task, right? But then keeping the lights on, going through the initial days is another game altogether, right? I'm wearing multiple hats. You're selling, you're delivering, you are retaining, you're doing project management, literally everything. Support functions like hiring, recruitment, accounts, finances. You're literally doing everything that is there to be done. So how challenging were the early days? What are your and Lacey's learnings from that experience? What would how do you kind of take that into your stride as you move forward?
It's very true. We bring a lot of hats. I never thought I was going to be into doing accounting, but here we are, and I'm in QuickBooks like every day, and making sure that everything's lined up. And it's been, me and Lacey work very well together because she has her strengths, I have mine, and we very much let each other kind of stay in those lanes. So there's stuff that I'm great at that she's not, and we've been able to work that out very well. We're doing content, we're doing everything. At the very beginning, we were making it happen. And me and Lacey have a very much a philosophy of like, we're not going to fail. There will be no failure. Failure is not an option. We'll do whatever it takes. I think I said the other day in a meeting, I said, if we have to go in a chicken suit in front of your office, we will, and just we are the reputation we have in the industry already. We're not going to ruin that. So we really focus on whatever it takes to make the client succeed and the company succeed is what we're going to do.
And like you said earlier, knew what you would be doing and what niche you'd be targeting, right? And many agencies, I speak with a lot of agency owners, 9 out of 10 cases, they kind of start trying to get everything that is there and then slowly they niche down and to scale up, right? But you already started with a niche. You and your partner already had experience in that particular domain or category. So, what strategic advantage do you feel you had in terms of positioning, retention, knowing the industry, knowing the market?
Yeah, so like I said, each of us both spent about 15 years in the industry, and there's a life cycle of property management, and there's times of the month where when rent's due on the first, you're not really worrying about anything else but that, and we already knew the problems they were facing. We knew the partners they were working with in the industry, and that gave us an advantage because we've worked with a lot of our competitors, so we know their processes, we know how they're doing things, and we weren't guessing at the PM pain points, which is the big thing. We've lived them. So we know what they're looking for. We know what their clientele is. And we know kind of just especially with content for us. Know when a lot of these agencies that don't have the industry knowledge, but they work with the industry, their content can sometimes come out very, very dry and it doesn't land. Ours is very specific, touches on those things down to the legalities. It's very interesting just because we're able to really put ourselves in our client's shoes. We've been there, we've done this, we know what you're going through. We can walk you through this. We're going to get you out into the other side. Because a lot of times they've been not been getting the great service. They've been getting the vanity metrics and all these things that not seeing what's really driving. The big thing is what we don't, they were getting leads, but they were getting traffic, but it wasn't driving closed deals. And so that's our goal for our clients is we look at how many deals you're going to close from this.
Absolutely. And talking about your journey, you went from leasing homes to leading an SEO agency. How do you think, what business mindset carried over from real estate that you still feel kind of helps you in your decision making as an agency owner?
So it's very similar in the sense of you are having to put the client first. The integrity behind it is one of the things that we really took behind this is we are making sure that we are putting our best foot forward every time. But with the real estate world, there's so many regulations, there's so
Yeah.
many there's so ropes tying your hands. So it's a very interesting kind of way to because it's very repetitive. Like I said, there's that life cycle. You have everything from when you're showing the tenant the property, they're moving in, they're the term of the lease, they're moving out. It's a life cycle. And with this, we have the capabilities of disrupting that a little bit and having a little creativity in it. So it's fun because we're not doing the same thing over and over. Every client's different, every market's different, and but it's still the same factor of keeping the client first but not having those your hands tied as much.
And then how do you feel, what is your take on the overall you know, thing of AI now taking over search and the different LLMs, and your clients in the property management space also worried about their brand showing up on different LLMs, and how are you managing that expectation now?
Yeah. So AI is pushed so heavily to the property management industry from every vendor. Every vendor is pushing AI. Everyone's talking about it. So it's definitely one of the
Yeah.
first conversations we're having. And in the very initial and what our approach is to that. Our thought process to this is you're not going to show up in the LLMs if you don't have the foundations of the traditional SEO. And so you have to have that portion of it, but you still have to follow the guidelines and the recommendations of the LLMs, what they want, that quick, that concise, those bullet points. So we're doing a lot of hybrid content. So the hybrid content's been very helpful for us and our clients and giving them, you're still getting both of those things, but we're letting them know is we're in the wild west right now in this is changing daily. Google is very toxic already with how they change stuff so frequently. So then you have these LLMs
Yeah.
coming in that it's so new, we don't know what's going to happen. So we very much set that expectation that we don't know, but we're going to give it our best shot from what we do know. And we've been very successful with it and seeing our clients show up on there, and it's so many things, that so many different parts to it that we're trying to build a strategy for, but you can't build it because again it is changing every time.
Absolutely. I mean, since what? November 2022 it was when, you know, our industry was, and overall, actually, across other industries as well, the storm struck us. And ever since, things have been evolving, like, you know, on a monthly basis, if not weekly and daily, right? And last 6 months have been, and we have been mushroomed by a lot of AI platforms, tools, and the SEO landscape. Yeah. So it's so ever evolving that it's difficult to keep a track of and maybe say we have mastered AI or something like that.
Yeah, we haven't mastered it, but the thing is coming from property management industry, it's the land of the pivot. You're having to change up and change your strategy all the time. So it's kind of like we're used to that. We're used to that pace of like, okay, this is happening, or we're seeing these trends happening. How can we get around that and make it functionable?
Right, right. And you talk about, operator led SEO. Why don't you talk us through the framework of it?
So we've been in their shoes, and we have truly dealt through the day to days that they're doing. So we're coming at this with a different perspective. Like I said, we know their pain points, we know what their life cycle is, and it's a different perspective for the client because one, they feel heard. And I think that's a lot of times in this industry, especially when you don't understand the industry you're working for, the clients don't feel heard. I know that I was, on the other side of the table, I felt I was always being talked at. These numbers were being shown at me, these things were being told to me. If you don't, I always say this: SEO isn't sexy to everyone. It's like it's we know we talk about it. We really take it back for our clients. We're not using the big jargon. We're making it understandable. We put out true, honest reports that are easy to understand. And the thing is they don't know. They really didn't know what was driving business to them. And now we're able to kind of show them that, and they're like, okay, this wasn't. I was putting all this money over in this pocket, and it's really not giving me anything because most of these companies they're out there to push PPC and paid marketing. We can do that for our clients, but we believe that you can truly, in this industry, win organically. We understand that it's a parallel, but if you don't want, you don't have to spend that money all the time. You can make your website work for you while you sleep. You're doing enough. You have enough handling all these different things of the industry. Let us handle this for you because we know what you need. Our clients have literally, a lot of them are like, just hands up, hands off. And they're like, do your thing. And we have that trust from them. And I think it's the feeling heard from them because they don't feel that from other companies.
Absolutely. And, you have been in the SEO game for quite some time now, Alex. And with the evolution of AI and all the tools that's there, the industry is evolving, right? How do you think, now that we are ending 2025, almost there, how do you think, the AI storm, or, how is it going to be in 2026? What is your bet on, the AI evolution in the SEO space in the next 1 year?
Just like when everything started coming out a couple years ago, and if you don't buy in now, you're going to get left behind. So you have to adapt to things, but don't. And I always say, don't do the shiny object syndrome, where you're like, okay, I have to do this. Don't put your money all in one basket. Spread it out over the different strategies, and that's a safe bet. When you're out there gambling, you don't go all in every time. So making sure that you're staying educated on what's happening, but not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. Great, yeah, Alex. This has been a brilliant conversation. But before we let you go, one piece of advice to our young listeners today, Alex, who are trying to break through, start their own entrepreneurship career, or maybe build their own agency, what would that one piece of advice be?
For me, I would say do it with someone you trust. And that's been the biggest thing for me. If you're going to go into business with someone or start a business, AC is someone I trust immensely. We've had the conversations. This whole journey has been fun, really, just because working with her. And we have a true passion for this industry, and we love, like, it brought like I said, the property management industry is very much a rough and tumble. There's always something. You're always putting out fires, and it's brought a passion back to us in this. And do what you love. If you love SEO, do it. Go file your paperwork in your state. Do what you do. There's gonna be some nights where you're not sleeping. You're gonna get very little sleep, and you're gonna have all these things. But if you love it, do it, and I always believe this: if you truly love something and you put your heart to it and your mind behind it, anything can happen. And we're proof of that because people didn't think we were going to have people. A lot of people doubted us, but our QuickBooks are doing just fine.
Well said, man. Lovely, Alex. This has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us. Really appreciate it, man. Cheers.
Thank you so much.